Bigscout media so. Ene ye ba betwetwe nkomo. Ye nyina nim sibia o man Ghana no economy no eko. Dollar no aba form. Se de ye nyina ye nim no dollar no aba form. Na ebi mo so ka se dollar na aba form no. Ene intimi en reflect ye ewo eye botum. Dollar na aba form nemum enoma boo ekosoro. Cement boo akosoro. Ene no man ketinkiti bi anke wo se ye ho etimi hehaye no. Saa no mani nyina akokọ okosoro. Enu nti na ena no pay. Ye ba be di nkomo, ye ba be fru bi a ono so onim de ewo ye amanyose mu. Na wase wo nsimfo bi eka ede kire eye ye mampanyini Dramani Mahama. Enu ma bi a wo se wo ye se ne be ya sidi na ho oden be gina brane na etimi aboa eye oman konkoro Ghana. Se wanye saa no ma na wansha eye sidi no esa be hwinhwan ama dollar no aye strong. Tebusuya yenche no yenko eye ahoma no so na yene eye abrantie no ending komo. Abrantie tane ni din komo pa. Tebusuya yentwen na yenfa ne to ahoma no so. Abrantie a yetane ni din komo wa ha. Sembia waka bia no abem oka se Dramani Mahama bewi ni ebemu oka eye entokwa hodo yare ahodo a na eba beba ni nyina ebemu intino enipa bia yene ne din koma ya na ehu hia pa ewa menua memo akwa ba ede aba Bigscout media so
Good morning, Major. So, we know what you're going to
na apomu to say.
Boko, you could so kakaka, you're very.
Yede nyame ase. Anopenso de ebe ha kakra na ye no adi nkomo afa. Sibia enoma ekoso ewo ye wiase ene eye oman Ghana mu. Na ye nyina nim, megidi se wonso wo hu se sabri dollar no ekofom ama sidi no enya hoden. Yen sha asen femfiri wo. Ebi mo ka se ede be na nam so ma dollar no ekofom ama sidi no enya hoden. Ebi mo ka se American tokwa a omune eye trade war a omune eye China eno na ama ene dollar no ehwinhwan. Ebi mo ka se eye ato obaye no onye hwe. Na wa wonim di mu ene de wo so wo hunu no. Eno me kwose.
You made that was what question you will be son. Some who didn't come up, I think before the election, no, make say current government almost betting me as survive it. As I said, almost to money in my year. Make believe your friend is a Mahama government, you know, so obeti the number of ministers so. They can be different. A kind of the first or mobile your friend is interest rates so. They can be via a babuama or mobile focus on what take any sika. I could go your foreign reserves. Emo. It is any money man make a car in Ushimwa, Ukraine, almost surprising. I don't know more.
Yeah, no crazy.
Now, the biggest one, no, we were at the Banisena, Yabedlu say, Ushimwa, once before 2024, 2023, Banano. Now, me catch you say, Brea Ghana for Brea, and I said, the Amasi, you know, I want the air conform. In I said, I buy a notice at the time. Echo ball, too much. Nana me can always sometimes in call for you idea because I'm going to say no be a couple be seen idea then you see car ye do more affect me idea. Area simon na secret near back up. Inflation, yeah, me sure some matter. be a for one some idea. But the amount say it seems like inflation and kasano. The core we were say the far by like na kasano. Nipa be brain sometimes we be say and call for about demand push and cost push inflation. And yet the real cause of inflation. The real cause of inflation is the print of money.
See be Jessica.
See a bit Jessica. Nasika Chano, a Yanima Mienu. Your countries almost Jessica good system. Big, especially countries are almost a lot more dino. And almost mean Jessica no so more. A Bobisia. Now her Bisia bar, as you said, you will be Jessica. What am I say? Enna, so we Jessica, and now Bobisia, the old Yan say, who increase money supply, our system name. I sika tamwa e beba be di nsem e doso but sika abi di nsem a enye adwumaden ene de baaye no sika tra anase sika herete otiase intia no e basa na ho de anase oburu beka say the value no e kofom the make an meaning say muda ho
yeah it you muda ho
If it's Sabian, and a cause inflation. Now, a hunsun sansuano, and a day demand pull and cost pushing ever. So what you must say?
Yeah.
Now, say, a buying back, Nasa buying in your discipline, Nasa a treskagum, and now a bobbisia. Not inflation, a increase here. Because you realize that too much money will be chasing few goods. It is a bass ape. Not affected the beer economy. I don't know, Sikano, Kofom. Not dollar, no, Kosoro. So, the way at Etienne. Now, the problem is a bass ape. Ube who say, a bino because all pre. So your friend is a domestic currency, no, and I say in this case Ghana, over say you see, no, into median MPP government is
okay.
Omutrasi can go musa no afi na a big inflation by inflation, no, affected obviously the value of what was happening. Me says I have this now or boy, your foreign reserves, no, call from.
Oh, okay.
So foreign reserves in the call from no. Now, cost from too much. And the way of foreign reserves and also if I hear you man say, see, I'm funny say a 10, maybe a 10,000 cities. Now, what would be 2,000? I call 8,000. The drop, no, and I said the impact, no. I'm funny say a be a 2%. But the would be 2,000 count. Now say foreign reserves no be cap 6,000. Drop no, and I interest never better no 4%. Emo maybe to me 8%.
Okay.
So inti mohon. Inti no. So we fika for more interest rate no cost run 10. So na sa ade ne ba basa government no ube hu say or try say obey we say or obey pressure na ba no so and no na basa na afi no or central banks no borrow from no for the necessary ko busika fitu we mu no the necessary ko raha no the necessary ko sha. In the typical example MPP time no ba say afi foreign reserves no akofom no investor confidence aba from afi ne ko a gamai so a yentimi nya sika mfa nkoto de yeto no Necessary, no, aban them in Sabobo for 12 a 1 Ghana, yes, at Tintino Huma, who was a pension for Sikanom them Sako boom.
Yeah, Kai.
Ube Huna, aha, into Sania Mano. Emma investor confidence, a call from Emma for two, and support local activities near the end, so a call from because now say, a buying the men's to BBR, so I get BBR can tell so. And on the day economic access by
Now, yes, we have to say, I think so make it so many excuses, because of a year COVID nearby, you know, and my year no year then, and my woman, Russia, Ukraine war, no, so no, affect the economy, now, and also,
I said, yeah, the American said, I buy BR, no, say, uni, and that's why. So, na wonim ekwan a yefa so pesika ewo wa woman anymore no na go be because domestic revenue ways of getting domestic revenue you always realize that and now we don't want to say go be kwakobo besia what you say now Russia Ukraine war and I say obeka say COVID no money ade no having impact because supply chains yeah this we see basa kaka. What you say? Because of the uncertainty and what supply chains in the moment. Abaidia was trying to shield itself and now protect its citizenry. You know, IMF the programs by World Banks the programs by say Ibia or my diano. You heard supply chain near money there because of supply chain bottlenecks crown. Even the supply of products crown. That boy the basa as I say ultimate pesika bia wo de bekwa akoyede wo de bekwa akodi Ghana in Shania man Kenya problem say aban be publishing what you say but the problem they say besiano saying our boy do saying our boy what am I say Bob enya problem besia boy enya problem but over besia e ye ma mi do saying our boy and as sika na be di on sa no so no e dia na wo de ye e si ntie sunsun so ne say
and for so ben be free mo
no sa na tie nti e fa na say ukobo besia no e na nka ban ne bae no mka se o the way a niam akwa die ya bo besia dia kohye e bia business we mu nti bosumi bia no ye benya sika sei na efrim mfaso de e be banye sei na beba enka bosia no na omobo no eso beba mfaso because se wunya mfaso wo de aye adwuma na wunya mfaso a wo betimi sa de akoto for reserves ni etia your friend is say a car wo de on interest rates ni ade o my bia so a biggest problem and our biggest challenge is debt servicing.
Okay.
What you say? Or might be the biggest challenge is debt servicing. And our domestic so the biggest challenge is salaries payment and I say remuneration payments. And on a GBI scapa. Into no sanya man you know.
I would do.
What say?
Bosumi aketua hodo a otua government workers.
Sa. It is a way of my nase. Mo ho bra eye o mfa ne man to 2 years okobo besia na odi besia na be ye o rather sem ana wo dia coach hye ne ma se emphasica ensamba in which this case the government of the day ebo besia na dodo no ano na omo try say omo de be ye your friend say school feeding program omo de be ye your friend say free SHS omo de share omo de bi nso try so omo de kwahyehyɛ enyuma ebia aban epeso ye interchange bi ana bibi sa na omo de akwahye problem ne say sa niam ne enye se enyo na so no economics when it comes to economic sense it doesn't make sense because udi shemo no sika na ensa amabak
there be ebe bua but e wonya mfa so mfiri so
sanity sanity. As I said, Yania Nipa, Wakobo business free bank. Also what the bank who Bob business their business. Now if you be now Obo business no. Now the could school fees. Now the be feeding money near there. But some so could bank no arrangement on any year so be repayments no and any extra in see a war repayments in the so. What am I say? Because one fine business now necessarily quiet. The tough MPP problems ya and I'm about the tough.
Okay. After you go back to a Mahama.
No. Sir, say no. There is say Mahama government no. They said you didn't come up before election no. About make say if the new government ba yes so me this is so me. So who Mahama buy what the ministers so from almost 110 to about 60 or between 55 and 60. That is almost 100% reduction. Your friend said 50% reduction. That's what you have here.
Yeah.
And you know, a saving Ghana millions of cities. And don't forget, the NT I made Bohon and they say, my ding kayaka said Ghana, and I said, I might be domestically the biggest expenditure is on remuneration and I said salaries. What am I say? And he said, 110 ministers. That is Utia Yamfan said 10 billion a year. What for half what? It means a Utia 5 billion. So what you say?
Yes, so 5 billion.
Over 5 billion to spare. So the baby BB. And that is one smart way Mahama government act. The bill gold board now or more play a major role. Meaning some for Shada and Kahua SMP and more underestimate the impact of gold board. But me as an economist, okay, I'm a catcher of say until say Ghana, you bet me a generating revenue internally. No, okay. Intino gold board and at the no more. It's a way of say, and you say, almost generating income, no fine, almost generating internally, but acquire almost fasten. And you say, be almost a Jumabina, a Disikabiba, name mono Ghana, your friend be leakages in an economy. Leakages, and say, or mine is Sikawum, but Sikano, and one cram credit, almost day, and no free heifer. If you have a small scale miners, or we could 2 gold near the no area, Fenyanamo. Fango, Anabi, or Kotu, Ubewana, or the cupboard and not the carbon, and no cotton. Or Thomas Ascan, and your Ghana by Honebo. A Nipano mere, echo the bottom. It cannot be accounted for. What you have here? It's a gold board, no policy now, or Modiabano, which is or Majiji. Friend say international licenses are first not Ghanaian gold dealers near there. Our major free or Munsama say as you say, or ton gold or Toma gold board, and I say Fafa gold board. A block holes. What you say? Into a honor, ama or when sika.
Wow.
Into all my generative sika, but and yes, Omoko top product and almost be industry dinner of their generating income. We know a blocking of the loopholes. And all my
not just say not just a gold board, aqua say cuckoo board. Our first and uncle for me 5 HD a year. Style now the way Cocoa won't mean Facuco Coton, I'm an register of the Facuco board and Sapepe Tena gold board and function and issue plain on into the air, Yamasa. The same NBC government and Amagana, Enya, a quantity, legend retreat Isika within the country, no. Not because Omuko setting up industry and I said, name Momono, and you just
enforcement, which is almost blockade individuals from going to trade abroad direct. The FAFA gold board, no.
Wow.
Not just even Abonte so for Chinese for India for near the Union. First non come over to gold do konya dem. Say no smuggling crown a swati.
Security finance crime me to say o match India for China phobia now more smuggle ye gold in the alcohol. And wow, not just say before no not the number of good that a found a fair chili connects and more. Now you say
more than the Ghana.
The Ghana ya depo. Now you say a whole one mum better no men na omum the corner makwa ye mukrum. Now you see it here. Wow. So imagine say gold board eat me a caho for many years. Maybe even the next government beba omunyina to aswa. Na say Ghana ibenya sika pudu bi dia to e dia ye no ma bia anka bia ye be kwakobo besia e dia ba be yika kwan ye be kwakobo besia e dia kwakọ enoma we gold board no nkwa betimi aboa
sanete enti e basa no a gold board no they said they working ya e hon kam fi be chichim but one kasa wetimi ehun the logic behind it awakoka. Okay. And that is one of the biggest achievements I think say especially about Mahama government in Abasu. But a honor MSN Kofu Bibri in Kamwasen. Now you Munswa. Your foreign reserves now make us a contributed to say your exchange rate near the a conformal. After say a Bobby near the Mahama government in Kenya African from gold board. Almost the Sikani be Ako Opia Ako 2 for 2 you know, technically, no. See, if I say year, 1 year they'll see it to be $150 million. Almost $450 million no opportunity. Basically, almost 4 years ahead. In Tiama, your interest now also can you on the money every year, no, almost clear. And none are building investor confidence. And none is building foreign reserves, no. Ama yesi kamesu nya ahode no.
Wow.
You know, say obo koso e generate sika from gold board no. Na omo de koto sa foto nim e build your foreign reserves e sa. See no, untimi nya na hwe. Ne ho be ye den sa.
Wow.
But so you know, for me, as a nation from an economic perspective, you know, the challenge for the Mahama government, and say, how do they sustain the domestic revenue, no, generation, no? So what you say?
Yeah,
or mind them, no. How do they sustain? Or better, no, me after Sikano internally, because you hear more gold board, no, Sikano munya don't want a small scale mining. Small scale mining, so no. I want to answer because you need to say you nominate. The question is, as a country, no, you better say use you say me and Yaska Kuchia, your futuna, a baby asian, a my warm, mercury, numene, cyanide, I almost the preference, you know, a beman quaran being subject to obey deformed, a beman for bay area, hospital, kidney problems, liver problems, heart problems, that is the question.
There's a BBA, na BB so say.
Sanity. Until say the Mahama government, you know, will find a solution to curtail Boni Beka se curtail. But Chikas and Yabeka said, Obefa Kwaibiso, your friend is a problem of galamsey and a small scale mining activities, you know, the way I see fire, no, a free horn. Media, Ubi Samia, Meka said, it's not the right way. So what you must say? Sikano Munyam. Yes, or Moya, they should start thinking of, say, Ibia mining companies, mining companies, or more Ghana, or more mining in the right way. Either say, you better mining concessions, maybe, as a country, using Sikano or more generated from gold boards to say, or more the top mining concessions, maybe. And I say, or more pen new site to be no more copper machinery, maybe no more Adiabesiwo, I started deep mining. Say AGC or Boise, Anglo Gold or Boise. The way almost if I owe and I said Newmont to Nomiabi. What you say? The proper way of
private companies.
What say?
You say no crazy private companies. They say what's a Ghana no?
Yes.
Yes, you know Ghana company of a gold a year Ghana dear ye too.
Ye 2 year mining in that proper way, no. And no, I mean, making a sustainable for the future. In Tiabasa, no, as an economist, I'll be convinced that Saskana, generated through gold board, no, it can be sustained for a long time. What you say? That is the challenge that Mahama government, no, say they have. Again, no, Ushemwa, as at now, no, Yenshadan Chichia, Abai Intia, Wekasika. Sir, I'm buying contractors if you come almost. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Basically, Abano is not spending at the minute in terms of government expenditure. The activities, you know, don't wanna on status or spend it. It is all status or spend it. The question is, how are we going to sustain it? Because foreign reserves no best from. In here, all mobile then. No matter pay up for reserves.
Not just asama bawumia erezi ye no. Na say no kre. Say almost spend ye intwitwa adwumayefo bi ka contractors ne de keke county na ma sidi na nya ho. De na say asama bawumia kan na no kre.
There is a difference. Or no because of Muntia. What you say? But he is not crediting the Mahama government to say, "Omo a creating gold border, no, a generated sikabiba, omo de koto futuni, foreign reserves ni, and no na see the ninya mode." What you say? Or no, en kasa ye no or kamiye. The question of to say the money bisa say, it is a government minister to say, "Utuitia, what is a car?" Or start to say, "Utia contractor sika," or start to say, or discuss near ma abai, abai anymore. Nasikano, ebe statia sa perform. I will for reserves. So what you say?
Yeah.
And until I make us say, the challenge, you know, for Mahama government, and say, "Omo ebe yede no omo as sustain sa adiwe."
For how long?
I know, say good board will. All right, gold board may generate as we speak. I know that they are targeting $12 billion yearly. But the question is, why now offer so in your Saskan and you're sustainable, which is small scale mining, no, and you're sustainable. So what you say? In TSC, a pepper for you debate mining no, you be still you bet in your Saskan. And into Nameno, yet to see a year can't say. As I saw, Mutimi existing mining concessions. And now, so says, as a for a good was no more per machines as a country, no. You better one national mining company, and now be bisa. So what you say?
Oh, yeah.
Until say, you been your Sabi and idea. Once the government starts spending, feeding, no. Ebe stati asa atiaba because dollar no so ukuyi with foreign reserves no na ebe sa stati say eba from eba sa no dollar no so besa apiki again and that is how your friend say situation is here
now and go for
Mahama government no
me too
Mahama government no so because of the confidence investor confidence in any man most pensioners, most look out for almost started government bonds to crime because I imagine that to government bonds, so no bonds, interest on bonds, dividend on bonds, no ntua, treasury bills, no ntua. So what you say? But confidence na abayfo for buy and nkofo anya minti no. Sika na esiso hye nkofo ho ne ade ni nyina. So almost saa de kototo government bonds. Into Ghana government, the revenue no, say kosoro.
Yes, when you confidence.
So what you say?
Mahama government.
Yes. Into nkofo sika esiso me say almost saa de kototo government bonds. And aba na sa key interest rates no nti no. Ama confidence aba. Nti say no obi enkofo timi kokobo besia from banks knowing say insi hu obetua no manageable.
Obetime twia. Na enkofo so ka o kan san so enkofo so ka say dollar no kofo cedi na nya hoden. Internally no enoma mu ayeden. Cement ekosoro enoma nketenkete bi wo a ne bo no still na de gina wo mu se yate se petrol kofo o mate lord fair ne de keke ka ho but innuane ne noma wo system no ma bo ya yeden itino eno sa no be de na dollar na akofo e be reflect wo yen Ghanaians no ye bottom.
Okay. Me da se webisa your friend is say question yi. Na the American say we operate a free market economy. So naturally, demand and supply should work to bring prices to an equilibrium, as we would normally say in economics. However, she said suppliers are now producers, retailers, or more ton near money at the end. Or money or my drinks or more to there is two reasons. One reason they say they are not certain say a bit to me as sustain this for now. So what you say? They don't want to panic, reduce prices. Now, say in another month, government is starting to treat your contractors or status or euros or status or status or yes. Now, for 20 more air conform. Now, dollar may say again, or no as a businessman, or no as a retailer, or no as a wholesaler. Now, so because as a Mexicano in citizen, a sobetic. So what you say? And Nuntina, she said, me who say, and Niama, a shaking, a biome. Most of them, product no fire. Maybe a fire product in January. Sika o fire at the time, not so. In terms of the dollar, nurse. What you say? She say na dollar near from. So almost 10 year so at once. It means all maboka.
Na say obeso beka ne say dollar ne kosra. Utimi kofa ade aboard ade na kofa ne boofo. At the moment a dollar ne be koso say pe no. Na omonso so no normal kofa ye na egu wholesale no. No mo so atutum. No more the prices ni be akeka ho. It no
I said the TM say I also share it from this angle. CD no, so CD no for more. It means that kofa niema. As I say, some CD do for dollar bako. In the emphasis na dollar no, 1 CD to $1. Ena dollar nenya ho den. Say yakoye 2 CDs to $1. A hono say one to move my name me tisa or the first can you enough or $1 onya $1 obenya 50p and 50 cents. What you say? The American what you say?
Yeah, me.
Aha. And nothing I am it is an affair. Prices in the cost they also try and match it. But at this stage, because Sikano Yenye sika no ena enya ahoɔden nti no. They are not in a rush to reduce it until say omo betimi aton niema na ewie. With the hope say omo nya sika dodo na okoto niema obetimi afa niema more. And don't forget, business people are business. They work for profit. What you say? And you know, no business man or businesswoman will bring prices down until say the stocks are existing stocks were clear at the going price.
Now, you can see, man, yet me and from Rabbi Ma, I be control prices of goods and
a Honan Kame Beba.
Okay,
a Honan Kame Beba. So the idea say because you operate a free market economy, you know, and I can say, untimi ebasa no akwese say you allow demand and supply to interact. Then one kasa build the price, you know, once it meets it hits the equilibrium. No. However, say over time, say after a month or two, a buyer who said no. You see Kayaba from for the last 2 months. Monte so you have BB government intervention. Nti aban betimi step in. Meaning say most for who study economics and I say BBC and sometimes say we operate a free market economy and we are not a socialist economy. It's a capitalist system. Let demand and supply operate. No. In certain circumstances, government intervention becomes necessary. So in this case, they said they all come. Abiding a 1.5 months, 2 months, they say no. And call for a year, we say, or monte, or monia masonia dear. In just see, yes, step in. Typical example, UK, last year, any 2023. Fuel prices worldwide above from not suppliers still now air tries or mobile ton fuel at the price now the government step in the choir of almost step in is almost reducing almost the price a buy price reduction list to buy. Almost go through UK almost be almost foreign competition and market authority. I to say but a monitor pricing near there, business, engagements near there. Omona almost sa engage your mama sa committee almost to me. It is sa committee number investigating your man no. Prices now, yeah, I also most on monton there. If you are almost to me a punish it. Suppliers, It BT for instance, your friends say, British gas, for instance, almost fine them.
Oh,
what you say?
Yeah.
Almost fine them. Any idea? And those things, again, government to me as almost to me cry a year day. If we tax, on the product. So what you say?
Yeah.
If you almost really tax on the product now, what they have done, they say the cost of the purchase of the oil and I say fuel and RBB for the producers, above from into bar government and expect to say
yeah.
The problem with Ghana, they say one yembisa who say sa bodies now war in terms of traders or BB to say Ghana Traders Union. What you say?
Yeah.
Ghana, yeah, it's a good tell. So then, some for or associations near there. The question and answer the make say, how strong are they? Because almost necessary, almost members,
almost
say, wanting more prices, you say. But before they do that, as I saw, I'm buying it massive. Not almost agree on price there, and answer the percentage amount now. So almost test them. That's what you say.
Yeah.
Nti saa nkitahudie no anko so a eno ti na Ghana fo ebe feel pressure no obi beka say na mo say sika yi ho aye den so ye hu hwe no. That is the reason why. Nti say aban no on the side of within the country no the kwai on the faso no is through the interventions here American. Say bia omo be penalize most of the friends say companies now, for instance fuel. They need to start penalizing companies like Shell, BP,
Okay.
What's all the price gouging? I mean, your friend of price gouging. Price gouging, no? So almost set minimum price over ton fuel, no? So what I say?
Yeah.
O ton man bro. Me who you to me a final. And I see a bit me the license from operating. So what the way I call it.
Yeah.
That is how the government can intervene. Now, and you must what it before.
Yeah. So so far, Mahama government after 5 months, money to 6 months. Oshe a year a normal air cost now in percentage wise, no. Obemo saying a normal kuyi. Na say a LED. It went to me with the babisi. And Oshe no maybe I was on my yex and a beya a beboa among government and also at me a corner said the Ghana for bepe in the next 4 years ahead of them. No, bet me that to be an did you make the number every oh, I said, okay, a foot will be normal caution so you have the platform. Bet me that to
you. You made a was to tell you, me cry, no, a show while ago. No, me say, a minor, I'll say they are. It's a step in the right direction for the government. Because the Omo Yen and some new didn't come out last time, you didn't come on. Zania Masaya and Bobo, such as I say, Omo Benya could grow ISR economy, no, they will be able to recover the economy. So what you say?
Okay, but one thing still no muguso more a free education.
Say, I said, and I make sure say free education, no, or more yes. But this I will say, who education institutions, no, or more to Sikanama institutions, na. Or more to Sikama, your friend is say, or no more, or more, we are the man, na. A lot of the costs no, are in arrears.
Okay.
As we speak, a lot of the costs are in arrears. And looking at make culture say, Meno, it's a step in the right direction, but I wouldn't be so or extremely happy about it as of now because me observe say when the government starts making payments here and there near the more, the impact is going to have and how the government will be able to maintain. Trajectory I was on. Because there's a year, so who was now who fast coming area. What you say?
Okay.
But those statistics would coming here be now, I say, Ube was a bank account to more, and I said, who bank account to. So when you then you'll be forced to go and borrow again. And on our foreign reserves, why get careful? A better buffer. A buffer from the dollar, no so who beside it. So who cycle, no?
Yeah.
And one thing I make us say, for me, the biggest challenge for the government right now, and I say, a quite bad on the Fasua, or move it near generate internal funds. What you say? Yes, they say gold board or moon Jessica if we gold board. But is it sustainable? Because small scale mining, they didn't say it's a transfer from small scale mining. Yare, basa, inquire deformities, many from small scale mining activities. And they cyanide and Meku, Egun, Shomo saying, but yet to me, because of sika ye pese ye nya de ko go board nti sa what must say nti sika na omonya se say no ese so omutimi di ye bibi foforo na sa bibi foforo do mo no e be join nti sika em ko ye se edi negative impact and also negative effect ebe ma omae no what must say anything that make us say and I may suggest to say they should be able to get a mining concession existing ones. Maybe I'm trying to say new Monto, one of those sites, you know, concession made by Berry. As I saw Makacho say, "Why you renew Mamu because we want to nationalize it." And I say we be in partnership with you people. Maybe a 50-50. South I say. They are making what you must say.
Yeah.
Aha. No, I generate sikanaba because a whole sikana is niban. Because safe practices in Tino, we will be confident to say a whole is sustainable. A disikaba back at least 50 years a crown or which me to go to a good year was assassinasia. A disikana bre. Emphasis as one Ghana for assassination, Maniama Basa, you see, ISM. So what must it? Because small scale mining there almost says you. It's not something that is sustainable.
Yeah.
Again, government, you know, you could know, you're exporting your mabibri. Is the government going to start to build or set up, for me say, medium-sized industries? You bet me tiny products into semi-finished goods and after finished goods. Now you cotton at a higher price and you see
Okay.
How many challenge you know? That is for me, you know, until some me who say money. That is when I will be confident and I can say, my government, you know, is going to go far. MPP Mecca say they should forget maybe 2028 or maybe to near the election. So what you say?
Yeah. Let's just say
so that is the challenge.
I want to say your
challenge, you know.
Yeah, exportation, you know.
So to say, yeah, exporting him. So cocoa, you know, so say, or my increase cocoa prices. Because of that, those who you can say smuggling the cocoa, you know, through your borders near them. So say, you know, cocoa board, the cocoa board crowds. As a result, you know, and so output, so what you say. But the question is, the cocoa board in your sika, or muton no munya sika noa. Adena ubi baby say as now. Adena cocoa board. Entity set a factory and katsa cocoa in a bar. Yanya yabem cocoa no. Fico into powder. Me are turning into near mabi. Nanka ya export is any minimum. If you say cocoa board in cotton cocoa $6,000 cedis. O convert it into semi-finished or finished products. O cotton sa adi no. Ebia yaba we overturn 15 cedis. Into revenue no be ebe cost more.
And internally no kurano. Ye bet me here sa product ahodo na ye twitwa enoma ye krade ba eye omanim.
Sa pepe. Sa be na me pese me. Then I'll be able to say, I'll be confident to say the ecosystem be sustainable in the foreseeable future. Scientists are there in America. Yes, I'm moving to sustain by way of say, I'm moving to go board, you know, system more. But the negative or adverse effect, they say, Nkofo is coming at the expense of Nkofo, friends, Apple Muding, and Adi. That's what I say.
Yeah.
And that is how the whole thing is sanity. But on the whole, I think Mahama government, you know, why are there? You can see signs of the way Omusifa in boom my war brocheno. You can see signs in Mahama, but akaka. Men say the American say obey confident say the ministers will be saying no one obey to me either. I punish you.
Okay.
Sir. So to me, yes, the Humbako government appointee be and they will all focus on doing the job to the benefit of the country.
Okay.
Okay. You know, it will be a medium. The mechanisms say at this point in Ghana will be support here by now. I mean, MPP, NDC, we should all support so long as the Jumedi or Mudino,
boy minor,
and only here. External factors, Also, last because external factors have impact on us. But yeah, because within internally, you have to try near year. Show the yakaka. What you say?
Yeah.
The external shocks are not a better tier, but impact is so great.
Okay.
Show who the way.
Yeah.
And you know, the farmer tier. That's how the whole way, the economy. That's how it is. You know, yeah. Made a foot Obama. Friend say MPP so. They need to. MPP as a party now, they need to understand that being a credible opposition party is important because Ghana for say the echoes within MPP party also. It looks like a PAP prior to election. So now,
oh yeah.
What the NPP is failing to understand is BBR starts with leadership. And you know, questions is almost current NPP party leadership. Is it fit for purpose? I ask them, Sebe.
I ask them. Today, I say, I was on to Tomo, my son, omit me because and Tawantawane de Bibri Coso. As so much man come who a be how or more. Emma or more crown, a strong opposition team. And they are very necessary.
Because they also want to say the leadership now under their leadership now. Santa Wantawane by. Until there is no way to solve the problem. I bring all the party members and everybody on board. Into the end, I make us say, as I said, party for now, Casa Womo to Abano. Say, party elections, national elections is about they need to think twice on who they are voting for. Because the current crop of people now cannot resolve that issue.
I ask him. Yeah, you be no komo na you better was say ene uba ebe chechi nsimu for almost be 1 hour muni Mahama government iti nsema wodo bibiri a wokan ya abem this almost be nya ya akomapa ene suti na omatoto no ma den say ebebuwa yi nyina as a country yen we say omon fall and say government no in failing because we won't fail ya yi nyina na ya fail so what you say tin e beda ase tin e beba bia no a e bepem nchiremu bia no ye be fro na also what the atoto ye be bia wo say what the to yakopon ka omnya
yo me da sin so pi wonu wetie fo ni mo
bye Ebusia yeni yenua ene kodi nkomo wadomu suko enimde efa eye economy eye ewiase sika sem ene ne ntoto ye ho timpempi no se asem ba na yakwa kodi nkomo na yakwa akofo na ba migidi se de okan no ato asomo se no ma bi wo a wanti ase a obetimi atwro na edafoforo no yekofa ne ba na waba chire musa pepepe dia mawo ebusu na mekanfo eye remy spices e dia mawo no ba chire no kwa na eye spices aboges yaje atum ana so pe ba bia da ma wo hu ato wadwodwo ho a mekanfo eye La Paz Beauty Holiday Home e dia mawo nyankopo cha no nyo kase pia